going to videotape.
Right.
Well, she asked me, but I don't know where I would, at this, right off the top of my head, I don't know where I'd want to go live.
Yeah, but you mentioned something about 3,000 acres in Guatemala. So what was the?
Well, that was how big our property was.
So, but that was mostly business.
But that was,
It's
But
probably
you,
good times though. Good memories.
because I remember
Yeah.
you mentioning there not being a landing strip with the plane that you were flying, right?
we made a landing.
Yeah, but you made it.
Yeah, we put it, we built it.
So it was like dense forest and everything cleared them out.
Yeah, well, we had to chop down a few trees,
Mhm.
and we had to ballast the runway with river rock. The river was right at the end of the runway, so there was plenty of rock.
Right.
So we had all the workers get gunny sacks, fill them with rocks, bring all the mules in, put gunny sacks on the mules and on the Indians, and just little by little, just
Now
started dumping rock.
Now the Indians, they're all descendants from Mayan. They're Mayan,
They are
100%
Mayan.
Mayan Indians.
They are mine.
They did not
Oh, wow.
speak English.
No,
I'm sorry, not English, Spanish.
they didn't speak, well, they spoke some Spanish,
A little
no
bit.
English,
Right, right.
but my administrator spoke their language, the Indian
Right.
language, and so he took care of it.
I learned some Mayan when I was there,
Well, yeah, I hope so.
but at the farm. But it was 2 curse phrases, which I can't say right now.
For our virgin
Well, I
years.
can say one of them. Okay. So one of the curses in Spanish is, in English it would be face like my butt. So that really doesn't do well, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
translate real, but it's cara de mi culo.
I heard culo.
And in Mayan, that is satin chop.
Wow.
Wow.
Face like my butt in Mayan.
And if you're talking to a girl, you say, oh, puro guachachot.
Oh,
You got a
okay.
pretty butt, lady.
So chop,
Put a
chop.
white
See?
chop.
Chope his butt.
So there you go.
Now we know.
Well, it's one of the good things, you know.
Now there's another story that I tell, which is you were going around, you know, you got your emergency supplies with you, gun, penicillin, machete,
Yeah, yeah.
stuff like that.
The necessities.
Yeah, necessities.
Everyday
of life.
necessities.
Yeah. You gotta pass.
So I
it
tell a
on.
story about you having to and dial soap. You have a story about that?
Oh, well,
Penicillin and dial soap.
well, I went to start with, I went to the Guatemalan government and I said, I got people working down in the jungle down here that are getting sick and their babies are getting sick
Yeah.
and help me, you know?
Yeah. I need my workers. They need their
And
things.
in a serious case where of infection, they're using machetes to chop down jungle with,
Mhm.
and they get cut, and they get infected.
Mhm.
So they gave me a pharmaceutical license to buy drugs
Wow.
at the drugstore in the city there,
Yeah.
you know?
Wow.
So I could buy penicillin and the necessities and tetracycline and things like that. But I used a lot of the tetracycline to vaccinate my cows with, because we had a few cows. And that worked.
Yeah.
But basically, it was just penicillin was the main thing that I had to do.
But there was a story you had told one time that
Oh, the soap?
was one lady, Mayan worker.
Oh, yeah. We had a lot of people working for us.
Mhm.
And they had their families down there with them.
Oh yeah.
And they made shacks, you know, with thatch roofs and all that to sleep under. They made their own facility.
Yeah.
And I also had a big long building with thatch roof on it for the workers that didn't have their families.
Mhm.
But this lady, this Indian girl, brought me her baby one day. Oh, my baby's so sick, my baby's so sick. And the poor kid was eaten up with mosquito bites. Because we have mosquitoes down there.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of malaria.
Oh yeah.
And So I gave her a mosquito net, because I had bought a bunch of them to give the ones that had families.
Mhm.
A big mosquito net, big enough for a family. And so they put that up, and I gave her a bar of dial soap. And I said, and a bottle of ginseng violet, okay?
What's that?
It's a violet, it's a violet colored liquid that will help dry up sores. if you put it
Oh,
on.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I
like a
said,
form of peroxide.
no, I said, you put that on every bite that baby has. I was my administrator translating, you know. And then, in the morning, you put on at night, make sure that you stay under the mosquito net at night, because that's when the mosquitoes come out. And, in the morning, take her down to the stream there was a little river there, a little stream. And, we had a big river too, but just take the baby to this little stream.
Yeah.
And you wash that baby with dial soap.
Yeah.
And then after you're done with that, put the stuff back on again. And you do that for
Repeat.
a few days,
Mhm.
right? Well, first of all, we stopped her from getting mosquito bites, the little baby. you
Yeah.
know. And all the sores healed. All
Really?
the sores healed.
Wow.
I could also buy penicillin too. If someone needed a penicillin shot, I could give them a shot. You
Yeah,
know,
we-
they got infected.
Tried to stay away from that.
She brought back that bar of soap. It was, a lot of it was used up, but she brought me back the bar of soap. Of course, it was purple colored from the ginseng violet.
Yeah.
And she just thanked me so much, and that little baby just was so happy, you know.
Oh.
And then eventually we got all the workers we got rid of the part-time workers, and the ones that were permanent, we got them all mosquito nets. And
Set 'em
because
up.
we were trying to clear up the malaria down there.
Oh, yeah.
Every payday, we took a blood sample on the slide. The Guatemalan government sent me down
Really?
all these slides so that we could take blood tests, and they sent envelopes with them. We put that employee's name and his employee number, because their names were all Indian and most of them were related.
Yeah.
Right.
So they all had a number, and I made them I got little metal discs like that, and a nice chain to put around their neck. They could carry that badge with them. So,
Oh, okay. So if something
their number
happens.
125 or whatever.
Yeah.
And so at payday, we took that blood sample from everybody before we would pay them. No blood, no pay. Okay. You go like this. And we'd get a smear on that slide, put their name and badge number, their number on that, and put it in an envelope. That was on payday, right? And the next day, we sent a courier up 25 miles up the mountain on foot to get to the nearest village
Yeah.
where the bus was. These little old buses that would go up there. That was the end of their bus thing. It was on top of the
Bus
mountain.
route. Yeah.
Yeah. And the bus driver would take them to the health department in Guatemala City for us. I'd give him a couple bucks, you know. Say, when you get your route all done, get these to the
The health
to the
center.
government.
Yeah.
And they would test them all right away. And before he would make a return trip in the bus, they would give him back the results of the ones that were positive for malaria, along with the medication for all of those that were positive for the
Oh, wow.
so we could treat them,
Good.
okay?
Yeah.
Because the government wanted to get rid of malaria down there just as bad as we did.
Oh, yeah.
A guy with malaria can't work.
Right.
I know, I got it. And you
Oh.
can't do nothing.
Wow.
You're just like this, it's because you just shiver all the time.
Yeah.
So, eventually, we got rid of about 90% of the malaria doing that. And so it was more attractive when we needed workers. They weren't afraid to come down there anymore. They used to call it Death Valley,
Wow.
because they're living in the mountains,
So hard to get
5,000
things.
foot level,
Mhm.
and we're at 800 feet above sea level and in a rainforest. So it's all very unhealthy.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that story.
That's awesome.